Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Icon. Thank you so much for checking out another episode of Esports Analysis. Today we are on board with ENVOY as he and the Chicago Huntsmen go to battle against the Toronto Ultra. So, a couple things before we get into the actual analysis of this one. First one overall, this map was unbelievably close and it comes down to a super clutch play from ENVOY, from ARCITYS. Actually, they kind of make two in a row. So, something to look forward to at the end of this one. Second thing that I'll say is that this scrim overall ended up going at least the Hardpoints 3-2 in the way of Chicago. They lost to Hackney and they lost to Petrograd. This one was super close, so this was about as even of a scrim that we've seen in quite some time. So as we're getting into the actual analysis, there's 27 seconds left on the current hill, and this isn't really starting off all that great for Chicago, right? If we're thinking about it, they got bad spawns to start the map. They haven't really been able to get any time inside of P1, and they haven't been able to flip spawns. It looked like somebody was on a flank right there as we were watching the kill cam. Again, I wish that we had Codcast remote so we could actually see what's happening with spawns and whatnot. But if you're Chicago, this going to P2, you lost P1, you don't have spawns. When ENVOY comes up, he's spawning ammo, which means Toronto has that back white van spawn. So it's going to be pretty hard for them to flip through this, although there is somebody, or there was somebody, it looks like, who was it? It looks like Formal was flanking up through mid. He just wasn't able to get around. So let's go ahead. Let's bring up our minimap for the first time today as we're inside of P2. Right now, they don't have control. Chicago is spawning out here towards ammo. So they really have two options. The main option is just to hit front right here or jump over this half wall. Problem is that that's a really important choke and everybody knows to watch out for that. So if you go through that front door, there's going to be 2 or 3 guns pointed at you. If you hop over the hop wall, then there's going to be somebody waiting for you there also. Other thing that you can do is send an AR through bottom plat up to top sandbags, and once you get top sandbags, then that's how you end up breaking this hill, right? As Toronto spawns back P4 and they start rotating in, that person that's top sandbags can go ahead and get these kills as they try to rotate in. So that's really the only way to truly get in. After that, from there, the next thing that you want to do is just get set up for P3, right? Because this map, if you don't have spawns for P2, you can make up for it as ARCITYS gets a nice 3-piece right there, but you can make up for it by just having spawns for P3, and then now all of a sudden it's a tie ball game after P3, even though you really didn't do great on P1 or inside of P2. But without further ado, the thing I love about scrims is that we can go ahead, we can listen in and hear Chicago's team comms. I'm still going to pause the video, break it down where I see super important things happening around the map. But without further ado, let's go ahead, let's listen in to Chicago's strategy and team comms.
Oh, you spawned maybe? Was you spawned again?
I spawned left.
I spawned out.
Bottom dirt.
I recommend in. I got him.
We spawned low dirt. They're all hitting the back.
W hill. I have your front door.
Oh, in the back, I'm one shot. I know your back door.
And that right there, this is the main push that we've been seeing from the majority of teams. Chicago does this really well also, but right here, Toronto had control of P2, and as they went to flood to P3, all they did was just push through ammo, which is why, as they were pushing through ammo, that's why ENVOY got this spawn up here, because the bottom right part of the map is being occupied. So as they push through ruins, again, once you get back here, all you have to do is get 1 or 2 kills in this area for whoever is holding down spawns, and then you can just pop through, you can push through the back, and now you have control of P3 spawns. So that's what Toronto did really well right there. Let's see if they can hold it as Chicago makes their way back.
In the back. Kleenex absolute. 1 bullet.
He got me back door, guys.
Kleenex in the back.
Spawning back.
He just shelled me.
I spawn ammo.
One shot on you, another one on you.
Front door.
Pushing you. Absolute.
I want front door.
There's two in there.
Tree door.
He just pitched me bottom cafe.
I spawned right.
Bottom cafe.
They spawned out yet.
That's fine. Get this time. 30 seconds. Someone play out left.
There's 2 there already.
Oh, fuck.
One shot, dude.
Flat dead.
I'm always bottom mid.
Alley. Kleenex big.
Alright, what are we doing here?
There's
Make
2
it
left.
break.
It's good.
I really like that call there from ARCITYS, just reminding somebody to play out left. Basically what he's saying is just somebody hit the flank through ammo so that as it rotates to P4, they can try to get that back spawn, similar to the spawn that's there in P2. They weren't able to get out. ENVOY turned around, he tried to go, but there was somebody, actually there were 2 people on that Godheady, so he wasn't able to get out. But worst case, or I guess the good news here for Chicago is that it's a tie ball game. Now, if you lose P4 but you end up winning P5, it'll probably be a tie ball game, and this really hasn't gone great for them so far. So it's not all bad news for them. Let's see if they can rebound a little bit as we head into P4 and then into P5.
He's free fire me. Top 3
one
too.
top mid.
Top C3 guys.
He flanked dirt. He's flanking dirt.
This kid looking at me.
One's gonna be the back. He's gonna be to the back.
On Heady. Heady dead.
Nice.
Pushing out front here. I'm pushing out front here.
I'm with you, Alk.
Top 3, one's top rugs already.
Top rugs,
Dude,
top
this game is fucking ass.
Top rug's done. Top rug's done.
Break out that check book. Stop rugs.
I got front P2. I got front P2 guys.
They're hitting the back.
Yeah, always spawn. Fucking front.
In the back. In the back.
Oh, I already ladder. Why'd I do that? So far away.
There's
There's 3 pillars. 3
I'm going
pillars.
alley. Nice, good wins, Preston.
No one in the back. Two more truck. Two more tractor. Nice, and no one tractor.
I have time.
I'm alive.
Alec, I hit the
I'm holding
back.
from.
Okay, I'm going in the back too.
Cammy, I'll kill one.
He's bottom mid, bottom mid.
Looking bottom mid.
Barber.
He's back alley, back alley.
Pillars.
Dead.
What's the name? What's the name?
I think one top rug.
He's top rugs. I got time.
Top rug. One truck. 2 rugs.
I got one.
Tractor. One truck.
I don't see
I
a
have
pushing
time.
you.
I have time.
Hey,
Kleenex on pillars, dude. Kleenex pillars. They're pushing Seth out west. Go towards time. Go towards time right now.
Yo, there's one
Can't
top
buy a
mid,
kill.
Barber.
One in the
Back
back.
alley, guys.
I'm naming back. I'm naming.
They're all in the back down.
I spawned out. He's front on US2. Front on US2. Top plat.
You got me on.
So this really hasn't been the greatest in terms of, we'll say, like a 60-second stretch for Chicago. So as we get into this, right here inside of P4, Toronto had control of P4. So as they were about to rotate to P5, all they did was just run through top rugs, hit P1, and then hit tree door on this side. And essentially, they're just trying to get those same back spawns that you get for P3, so that as you run into P5, you have a much shorter route to get inside of P5. And we saw Envoy was holding down the top side of the map, and he ended up dying. He was the only one that was really out here. And as he came up here, he ended up dying from mid-map, which spawned them out towards ammo. Now, they have been consistently trying to fight back in this top side of the map. They just haven't really been successful. And not only the top side of the map, but also the secondary route that Toronto would take is up to top platform here in top mid. So there's multiple things to watch out for. They just haven't really been successful at locking down both of those places. They have the bottom part of the map locked down because that's where they're spawning. But in order to truly get a bunch of time inside of P5, you want to make sure that you're locking down the top side so that Toronto can't rotate from the top. And now, as it's about to rotate towards P1, if you're Chicago, you then have to worry about getting somebody flanked out through electronic shop to back construction so that you can then set up spawns for P2.
Pillars weak. Two pillars, guys.
One's
Sorry,
plat.
rotate.
One's
Back
plat.
alley. He's stuck in hill.
I'm fighting this, bro.
I'm keeping trap rug.
I need a hill, Preston. I need a hill. Don't push it.
That weak.
Oh, smoke, dude. Back alley and then back hill.
I want to help right.
Okay, I'm gonna get initial.
That's one rugs.
You got me on old.
I have all the right
cut.
cut. They can't be spawning.
Two
They
of them
can't
all,
hit
guys.
right.
One's hitting back alley on whoever's old. I'm trying to hold
2
two
here.
here.
Another one here, guys. It's already through bottom mid.
I'm watching bottom
I'm
mid.
backing up. One's already through bottom mid or
I
P2.
got
I
time.
I'm holding all of rugs.
I think it's gonna be P2.
You too?
No,
You can
there's
go
2 bottom
C3,
mid on
guys.
me.
You can go C3 then.
I got one.
You want top rugs on me?
The other one was
I
right
have
at
to
me.
get. Can I go bottom construction?
Yeah, if they go from dirt.
Alright,
Bottom
I'm
mid or
going
plat?
C3. I'm going C3, bro. I'm
One's
looking
bottom
at
mid or
pitch.
something. Or bottom middle.
Last kid. They're gonna spawn in whoever the
Yeah,
last
he's
kid.
flanking me.
Yeah, back here.
Flanking me, rugs.
He's dead.
Did we flip
They
him?
spawn back here. Yes.
2 plat.
Zin got me.
Two
Push through construction right now. Push her on
No one
construction.
top
There's
top
3
plat
plat or
weak, top
something.
plat weak.
We spawn construction. Turn around. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
they're all rugs. They're all rugs.
I'm trying to push him. Don't worry about him.
Got one
Right
top rugs. I have another one shot.
Got him.
One's P2.
I'm going close. We need.
Just a nice job right there of spawn knowledge from ARCITYS, and this is probably something that they're aware of right now. But if you're spawning down here by construction, that means as Toronto left P5, they're pushing the top side of the map, right? If, on the other hand, Chicago spawns up here back construction, that means that Toronto is being successful at pushing the bottom side of the map. So when ARCITYS spawned up down towards P2 by electronic shop, that just means that as that was happening, Toronto was pushing the top side of the map trying to get into P1, and they're not really focused on flipping the map as we're about to go into P2.
Another one top rug. He's hurt.
I need it out here. I know what's a
He's in the
name.
back of new.
Gimme done.
Back of new. He's in the back of new.
Is he in the back door? He's on the head.
Dance it old hurt.
Got him off hold.
Another one rugs.
Another one.
Dude, he's just holding. You fuck. They're hitting once top line, once for construction.
I'm
He's
trying
Might
to
be
go
on
for
Edo.
construction.
Yeah, he might be on Edo.
One could be sandbags. They could be
Nade sandbags.
up to you,
The
bro.
other one from construction.
I'm
hurt.
stealing.
Flash it.
I'm holding construction.
Back
Let's.
a second.
Nade sandbags. Nade sandbags.
I'm
He
watching
can
the
be
hopper.
top. What's it called? He's top 3, I think.
Stand back.
It's sandbags.
One more
Stand back,
construction. One more construction.
Stand back.
That's not even
Bring it
him.
back
There,
then.
it's Classic. You're looking for Classic. Oh my
Close
god.
sandbags, close
Sandbags in the back.
Stand
Oh my
back.
god.
Got me,
dude.
Cammy.
We're good, we're good.
Get the time. Get the time. Flood. Flood. Let's try to break through. Like nade over. Nade over.
I didn't know sandbags.
I'm trying
I
to
have. You have wall.
I flash him. Flash in front. Either side up. Either hop. Either hop. Either
Side
hop.
hop. Two more. Not hurt.
One more.
Jump. Start pushing.
I got one front.
I should have smoked
Go
wall.
fast.
too.
He just pushed in the ammo with an air. Good
Got
try.
him.
I don't see anything else. It could be on
Oh,
Heady.
one's
Let Preston
top.
peek Heady.
Heady.
Let Preston get Heady.
Top
Let
road
Preston get
just
Heady.
Heady dead.
Good job.
Going back, Kelly.
Now, this was the span of about 60 seconds that wasn't really great for Chicago on the first set of rotations. This time, they're doing a much better job. So, first thing I want to point out is as ARCITYS and ENVOY came up off a spawn back here by White Van, they threw those nades out towards mid. And the reason why they did that is to cut off anybody or at least get intel on anybody that might be cutting through mid to go top sandbags. I really like that play. And then with about 28 seconds left or so, you heard them say start to flood, start to push out. So then they're starting to push out over towards ammo so that they can then go through P5, get those kills on the back side of the map, and set up spawns for P3. So just the tiny little stretch there of like 20 seconds or so has been really great for Chicago. Let's see if they're going to be able to push out these back spawns or not.
10 seconds.
Back alley hurt.
Pinch,
Heady again.
pinch stop. Try to kill top window.
One's back alley again. Push you.
Top window hit.
Yeah, push me, Alex.
Oh my god, I'm dead. He's pinch top again. They didn't even worry about left. Literally, if I went through left.
Kimmy top. There was one there.
Loading.
Alright, I'm going left, guys. I'm going left now.
Everyone loading.
I'm going left.
There's two top mid.
I got one top in. I got one top. Oh, fuck. Cammy got my top right, guys.
I got
Cammy
another
my
one
top
left.
right.
DP2, dude.
Yeah. Because we're going both sides. I spawned close. Is that kiddo?
One's deep right.
Deep right on me, guys. I'm giving up
I'm
Zen.
going bottom
I'm
mid.
giving up Zen. Yeah, go mid, go mid.
I'll hold the guy right.
Taking time.
That right there also, that shows the power of having a strong main AR. Methods has been unbelievable this year. He really is. Him and Octane are playing super great for their teams, but Methods was just holding down Ruins, the push through P5 over there, and every single person from Chicago decided this isn't the fight that we want to take. Let's push through mid, and it was all because Methods was holding down that one lane, and they just decided to back off away from it.
Right, back right in front door.
He's in the
Alright,
corner.
we're good. Back up. Everyone back up. Everyone back up.
I'm watching dirt.
You can hold that.
Yo, two right.
I don't see anything else low.
Helping you. I'm helping you.
Yeah,
Yo,
I'm
you
leaving
wanna back
this
on
for
that?
you.
Your dirt.
Classic dead.
Back up there.
Back alley.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was already back alley. It's my bad. Place.
He's already
Dirt,
red.
dirt. We just flipped ourselves somehow.
Dude, mid step.
Shit,
He's
just
mid flat,
fucking
one
ignored him.
shot.
2 and help.
Oh, we just fucked.
I smoked
bad.
Not
cat.
sure what we did there.
Wait, where's Cammy?
Cammy's on dirt. He's
One
making
sig
a
dead.
smile.
I think flat.
Cammy's dirt.
I got one
somewhere.
paint.
Good job, 2-2.
I think front door.
Cammy dirt. Dead. I got him
Sig.
dirt. I'm trying to look front door, guys. I got your front door.
On the heady.
I'm calling through your front door right now.
One
Front
here.
door.
Jump.
Only front door.
Back door.
Backed up. I'm one shot. You guys gotta come. Good
I'm
job.
going
They could go third. They could go third. Yeah, zig. That's first guy.
I rolled it.
Front door.
They're
It's
probably gonna be
Bans.
hitting through to me.
He's quiet.
Stay
Quiet or
from
something.
you.
Zig,
Yeah,
one
Yo,
shot.
I'm in the back.
I'm here. 2 set.
I'm going to the back with you guys. Could be top
I'm
plat.
just holding
I'm looking
deep right
flat.
now.
Back alley. They're just holding set. They're just holding.
I don't see anything flat.
Yeah, nothing.
2 new. I can smoke.
I'm in the back to you guys.
He's back alley
What's on the
laying
wall?
down.
Trying to
Wall,
nade.
they're dead.
I got naded, dude.
Gone for a while. Gone for
I just naded.
He got me for a while. Got me for. He's lit in time.
Back alley then.
Bands push time. Bands push close to time. I'm blocking. I'm
Back
blocking
alley,
front in a
back
second.
alley.
Blocking front in a second.
Alley dead.
I got him holding block. I got him
Heading
holding block.
close right. Heading close right.
Need help?
Oh, I fucked up my smoke.
I love that pinch. So just real quick, I want to break this down. I love that pinch from ARCITYS. So Chicago was successfully able to get these back spawns, which means they're going to be pushing out back Ruins or over through arches. But the other thing that is really helpful is obviously this hill can be a little bit of a stalemate, right? Because Toronto's spawning right here. So the distance to get inside of P5 is basically equal from each side. But what ARCITYS did right there, and I don't see this enough, is he ran through top plat, and he's going to hit a pinch right here through these mid stairs. And as he comes around, he's going to be able to shoot Toronto in the back, which should get them off of that Godheady, which should eventually allow the rest of his teammates to push up into P5 and secure that time inside the hill. It looks like, I don't know if he went down yet or not, but I really love that play right there. Super heads up.
No, dude. Too heady, too heady.
close
One's
right.
going back alley, back alley, back alley. Back alley bands, back alley
Zen
bands,
and
back alley
Cammy,
bands.
Zen
Back
and
alley,
Cammy.
bands. One shot back alley. One shot back alley. Free kill.
Netty's in.
He's already bottom in. Classic's bottom mid trapping. Classic's bottom mid trapping.
Mid hill, mid
They
hill.
don't win off this. They don't win
There's
off
two
this.
there, two there.
Classic is bottom mid trapping already.
Classic dead element.
Alright. Get out rugs, get out rugs, get out rugs, get out rugs.
Alright.
He's pinched. Bands.
I'm gonna
pillars.
nuke, or I'm gonna
Pillars,
contest
that's
this.
He's already on the cover. Oh.
Nice,
I'm
no, no.
contesting, I'm contesting.
Oh, yeah. I'm helping you, Dill. I'm telling you.
He's trying to.
One spot, one spot, one spot. You can go, Preston.
I think there's one construction. There's one construction guys.
Wall, one
Yo,
shot, Dill.
top.
I'm just leaving him, I'm
Top
leaving him.
absolute.
That's fine, that's fine.
Zach construction on me.
Got me rugs, Nick, dude.
And we're spawning Barber.
I got one, another one, rugs. Rugs hurt.
Rug's dead.
Nice, too.
Nice, another one flat at me.
Nick.
Alex, Plat dead, plat
I got him
dead.
off time. I got him off time.
It's four. Last guy time, last guy time.
He got me. He got me.
P2
See, he got me.
spawns.
Yep. There's a couple spawn close. We had one spawn construction.
Front door hurt.
Yo, I
front door
spawn
hurt.
plat guys. I spawn plat. I spawn plat guys.
Two front door.
No.
Front door method dead. I spawned plat too. One can be
Spawning plat
pitching.
guys. Pinching dead. Pinching
Yeah,
dead.
good
Nice
job.
shit.
Push out,
Zig,
push
push
out.
out. Zig got me.
Hey,
I need, there's Zig.
Take one shot.
I need in front of you. I need in front
Zig
of you.
hurt, Zig Zig hurt. hurt.
I got the other kid. I got the other kid.
Finessing. He killed me in hill.
Paint.
Flash, I think.
Look at the cross, look at the cross. Plat behind me, plat.
Stay down. I spawned out. I spawned out. Well, yeah.
I stuck one top. Kill one more top plat. Top plat. He's gonna pinch.
I got it. Pitch that.
Another one here,
Nice
Alec.
job. Yeah,
Pushing out.
One construction dead.
He got me. Paint.
Absolute. I stopped shooting.
He's outer guys.
Outer. At least stop shooting.
He's not out.
Alright, let's hit front out.
He's inner part. Go new.
Yeah.
I got one.
In the back, in the back.
That's
One more
three.
still load, one more still load.
He killed me front.
Front door dead, front door dead.
That's four.
Yes, they
Spawning
spawn
in the
back
back.
then.
There's one in the back. There's pressing.
Trying to hit it. Hold
I
up.
got one, another one pocket, two more.
There's two
Side.
pocket. Two pocket. One
Don't hill. One shot dead.
Nice, good job.
Going back behind the counter.
Dead.
Stay alive.
I got naded.
I smoked
That
in.
shit.
We're good.
Just we can hill.
Contest if we can. Coming.
I'm flanking.
Oh my god.
He's triple naded. Dude.
What a play.
Good job.
Side.
Side. We gotta push it out.
So Envoy's going to end up dying right there, but his flank towards the end is what ended up clutching up and winning that for them, because Toronto had 3 barrels pointed at that front door, right? So him being able to get through his smoke, hit the flank through that back route is really what freed up the time. And there was only one other person for Chicago to kill inside the hill. Then they were able to get those last 3 seconds. So really nice plays out of Envoy towards the end there. Also, the thing that I kind of recognized the most is that ARCITYS, I love the fact that he's that consistent in-game leader, right? A lot of times you'll hear Preston, you'll hear Scum talk about like what they're doing or where people are spawning, but you don't hear like make sure we push out left, or you don't hear those sort of instructions from them. It's just I don't know. RC just plays really well, and he's such a great in-game leader. I think he's a vital part to this team's success. Scump was 21 and 28, so not the best map out of him, but Formal and ARCITYS, that AR duo, has been playing super well. Cammy played great underneath. I can't see his deaths, but almost dropped to 40 bombs. So with that, guys, if you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Any comments on this one, leave them down below. I super appreciate all the support as of late. Leave a like before you head on the way. And with that, thank you guys so much. I will catch you in tomorrow's upload.